All right, all right. The Truth episode 70. Let's get it. Nick back in the building for a couple more years. It's gonna be nice. Let's hear what them Cowboys fans are talking about over there in Dallas.
He was 3-5 this season before he faked that injury. Played 8 games, 3-5, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks. Cooper Rush, in his 8 games, 4-4, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. He should have went 5-3. But that loss to Cincinnati, that shit wasn't on Cooper Rush. So you trying to tell me all of a sudden this guy finna just explode his game because he got Pickens? I seen him throwing up stats of how he throws the deep ball and curl routes and comebacks. And he's this second and third highest and throwing the deep ball. That can't throw the fucking deep ball. What are y'all looking at? And if he is, those stats probably came from when he was beating up on the NFC East when they was sucking. Because they couldn't have came from last year. He was 11 touchdowns and 8 picks. So those stats they put up probably from the past, going up against garbage secondaries. Padded ass stats. That's why I call him Stat Pad Prescott. So y'all want to put up his stats and his numbers from the regular season. Fuck the regular season, bro. Where's his stats in the playoffs? We've seen this story. Year after year after year after year. We've seen this story. And nothing's changed. He had Amari Cooper that do nothing with Amari Cooper. He had Cooks that do nothing with Cooks. He had Dez that do nothing with Dez. Huh? Now you finna sit up here and make me believe he finna do something with damn George Pickens? He's about to waste George Pickens' talent. Are you kidding me?
Going on, everybody, man, and welcome to the very first episode of The Truth, where not all Eagle fans agree on everything, and this is definitely the spot where this shit about to go down.
Oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going.
This is why we started this, because of you. We started this because I'm tired of listening to your, fantasy that you living in right now. Always talking about guaranteeing no until proven otherwise. BS!
I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah. Fatal like a gun.
Hey, I was pretty close last year thinking, we could have easily won those 3 games we lost.
I gotta get through it, and the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing.
Right,
never give up, never slow till I find
look, we lost.
Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving.
Yeah,
I put it out as hard, it's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you.
What is going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 70 of The Truth. It's your boy BG31 in the building with my boy JC Sportstalk. How you doing today, JC?
What's up, man? Nah, I'm good, man. You know, a Tuesday, football, I guess, is right around the corner in May, I guess, but I'm good, man. Huh?
It's almost there. It's almost there. We're almost to the almost. Hey. We're almost to the almost.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just ready for football to get started again. I know the players are been ready for football to get started again. Shoot, they've been ready since March. You know what I mean? So, but, Nick Sirianni, hey, he finally got what he deserves. Go ahead. I know we're going to talk about it. Let's roll.
Let's roll, yeah. Nick Sirianni, our boy Nick. He got re-signed. Look at that face on him. He like, y'all thought y'all gonna get rid of me, but I'm still here, my guy. Nick Sirianni re-signed to a multi-year deal, man. I think it's well deserved. I think he deserved, every penny of the money he got. And I am so happy that he is our head coach. This is what they had to say about Nick over here. Let's see here. It says, as an organization, we have always thrived to create a championship culture of substance and success, sustained success. Nothing is more important to fostering such an environment that's having tremendous leadership. Nick has embodied everything we were looking for in a head coach since we hired him 4 years ago. His what's it say? Authentic style of leadership, football intelligence, passion of the game, and growth mindset has helped to bring out the best in our team. I'm excited for what the future holds for the Philadelphia Eagles, baby. How do you feeling, man? How you really feeling about this? Because a lot of us, I'm gonna say us,
You,
I was one of us. A
you,
lot of us, wanted him gone after the collapse.
you did.
I'm glad he did not leave. That's why we fans, and the big Jeffrey Lurie is Jeffrey Lurie. How do you really feel about this extension and how valuable is Nick to this football team?
Yeah, man. Look, I mean, Nick Sirianni, man. We had to look at it, man. Nick Sirianni, when he get out his way, once he decide, hey, I'm the head coach, I'm going to oversee stuff and not try to, put his fingers in everything, even though he does still have his fingers on something. I mean, it was clear as day. The banger, right? The dagger was called. And Nick was like, just call it, just call it. So obviously they still value his opinion. But Nick is, look, 4 years as a head coach, never missed the playoffs, right? Even, Jalen Hurts' first year starting, he never missed the playoffs. He knows how to get these guys on board, with the flower speech that he gave, his second press conference, whatever it was, until his Super Bowl speech he gave. So some way, somehow, Nick Sirianni, he knows how to get everybody on board to buy in. Yes, we got A.J. Brown, Barkley. We got superstars all up and down the roster. But sometimes putting a lot of, good players together may not work out. But some way, somehow, he find a way, especially early on in the season when we were 2-2, heading, I'm coming back from Tampa, BTA our asses, And after that bye, he found a way to bring all these guys together, man. So Nick is definitely well deserved of the multi-year extension. We don't know the money. We don't know the year. All we know is multi-year. He was signed to a multi-year deal. Look, I'm looking forward to see what Nick Sirianni, can do this upcoming season. Basically with the new OC again, but I think that he's gonna be fine. Nick is gonna do fine, and I'm glad that I was on this train. I'm one of the few, even after that meltdown we had, the 6th loss out of 7 games. I still was on the train. Do not fire Nick Sirianni. He has done enough. He has proven enough, to at least deserve one more year. Especially when your players are backing you up. The Brandon Graham, the Fletcher Cox at the time, right? Jason Kelsey, all the veterans, all the legends was backing him up. I knew that he wasn't going anywhere. I knew that he was going to get one more year to prove himself. And hey, what a better way to prove yourself than to be a Super Bowl winning head coach?
And yeah, and I think, just doing what he did, like what other coach can have a collapse like that and keep their damn job? You seen, what's his name? Dougie P won the Super Bowl with us, got all big headed, had a collapse and he was fired. He was gone. But Nick Sirianni persuaded Howie and these guys with his leadership, but kept the team on his side, and that ultimately kept him on the football team. He gave up responsibilities to grow. He didn't have to. He pulled like an Andy Reid. I'm not going to be an offensive coordinator no more, because I know when I'm the offensive coordinator, it's not working as well as it should right now. We'll give that position over to somebody else, and I just focus on keeping the morale of the team up, because that was a tremendous collapse. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, like you said, I was definitely on the ship of firing him because I was like, how you gonna let the team go from 10? Well, we were 10 out of 11 games or something like that. We won 10
We
out of
was
11.
10-1. We was
Yeah,
10-1.
and then you go collapse like that, and then it's like, okay, you think it's cool and it's gravy, and no, it wasn't cute at all. But like I said, he went to the playoffs every single year, so you can't fire some guy that's going to the playoffs every single year. And his winning percentage, man, his winning percentage is one of the best in the league, man. The best on all active coaches right now. You know, with the 54 wins in the first 4 seasons as a head coach, you know that's nothing to frown upon. Look at the names on that list. You know, you got George Seifert, you got Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, and Mac LaFleur, you know, with 49. It's like we're 5 ahead of all 3 of those guys, Nick Sirianni. So he's the most winning coach in the last 4 years, and I think it was an honor to keep him back on his football team.
Yeah, and I'm tired of people, even after he got his extension, I'm tired of people saying, well, what does he do? What does he do? He got extended, but what is his role? He's the CEO of the freaking team. Yes, we know that, the Jeffrey Lurie and Harry Roseman, they write the checks, they grab the players, but then, he made everything goes on that team, man. So like right now, I'm just tone deaf about what people are saying. So I don't really care no more.
How do you feel about him being a coach? You know, because I heard someone talk about that too. That's never won Coach of the Year, even though he's doing all this winning.
Well, because they punished Nick Sirianni for having a good roster. I mean, that's basically what it is. They punish him for having a good roster, just like Andy Reid, right? When Andy Reid went to the 3 Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how many times he won Coach of the Year, during that stretch, during his 3 Super Bowl wins. But I'm not sure he won Coach of the Year when he won the Super Bowl. For some odd reason, you have to be a bottom feeder, a bottom team to, crawl your way to the playoffs to even being talked about Coach of the Year. Remember, his first year as a head coach, he should have won Coach of the Year. Good. Because we was one of the first team in NFL history to start like 2-5, whatever, and make the playoffs. Like that shit doesn't happen. But I think he was being mentioned for Coach of the Year, even our first Super Bowl run with him. I think he was being mentioned, but he's not going to win it because they look at him as you have too much talent on the team for you not to be good. So, you know what I mean? So that's a praise. Like, I mean, that is a high praise for Nick Sirianni, right? You have all these talent, but you still manage to bring these guys together. Shoot, the Ravens got a lot of talent. That's how I check. They got like more All-Pros than we did.
Yeah.
Bounce, right? You know what I mean? So, like, just because you have talent does not equal championships. It does not. So you still got to have that person that knows how to bring everybody together. Just bring that talent together, make them play as one and see the bigger picture. Anytime you have players that is quoting what you're saying as a head coach, you're making an impact on them.
Yeah, that's true. And now he's even starting to have his own little tree. You know what I'm saying? He got coaches that are under him that are head coaches for other people right now. You know what I'm saying? You got Shane Steichen, you got JG, you got Kellen Moore, all these coaches that are starting to become under the Nick Sirianni umbrella. You know, the Eagles have a lot of great coaches. I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was like, tell him, do you not realize every one of the top teams, for the most part, besides Shanahan and then maybe at a McVay or something, are all part of the, former coaches of the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? The Bills, their coach, former coach of the Eagles. Ravens, their coach, former coach of the Eagles. Kansas City, Big Red, former coach of the Eagles. Like all the Eagles tree really started back with Big Red and his tree, but all of them are all former coaches, that are leading the best football teams in the league right now. That's why we're part of the best organization in football, baby.
Yeah, I mean, facts, man, facts. And it's, MC, Texan Eagle, look, I completely agree, man. I mean, the Shanahan, Dan Campbell, I mean, they had talent. They had a roster. Matter of fact, the year that the 49ers went to the Super Bowl, what, last year it was,
Yeah.
right before? Yeah. Yo, they had a lot of all pros, man. You know what I mean? So they had a lot of talent on that team, and they lost in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But he was getting a lot of credit. Dan Campbell. For some odd reason, everybody loved Dan Campbell. He doesn't do shit. Like, oh, he's just like, "Arr!" But people don't look, they like that because he's Dan Campbell and he's not in Philly. I'm convinced if you're a player, a coach, a team in the city of Philadelphia, just get used to it. You will never get any credit. Never get any credit, never be celebrated besides within your own city. But outside of that, nobody cares.
Nobody cares about you. Yeah, it's weird. I still think it's weird though. Like, what the hell?
Let's say we have a super team now that we won, but before the season started last year, we weren't going to make the playoffs, even at 2-2. Even at 2-2, right? During our bye week. Man, oh my God, the media. Oh my man, they was going after the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, they was going after the coach. Nick Sirianni is not going to make it through half the season, they was saying. And then we won, and now all of a sudden it's like the super team and what they expected to win. They are the best, team. Man, whole bunch of stuff, man. So whole bunch of stuff. But it is what it is, man. I'm so used to it, man. I've been an Eagle fan for so long that I don't even care anymore. Like, I try not to let haters get into my skin. Like, my mental health is important. And if I go back and forth, especially on Twitter, God, I'll be freaking in an insane home. Come on, man. You here? What's going on here? Oh, boy. Another one of them days.
Yeah, I know what's going on with my internet. One of them days, man. It's one of them days. I got it though. Hold on, I got it. Here we go. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately,
hear me?
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Anyways, we're back to it. I don't know, man. My computer's tripping. Anyway,
a delay.
So, well, congratulations to Nick. Another move that happened for our Philadelphia Eagles. We brought back Joe Douglas. What's your take on that? How do you feel about bringing Joe back into the building? Last time he was here, we won a Super Bowl. He's picked a lot of great players over there with the Jets, help build their young scouting community up. Bryce Hall, the running back, Bryce Hall, the receiver, Garrett, the DB, Sauce Gardner. He's putting some real good talent over there. He was putting some real good talent over there with the Jets. How do you feel with him being back with the main man, Howie Roseman, and heading our scouting division?
Yeah, I mean, it ain't no big deal to me, man. Look, as long as we got Howie, man. You know what I mean? So, I guess, but he also made some freaking stupid decisions too with the whole Hassan Reddick trade, right? You know what I mean? Like, how you trade for a guy and then you ain't never, agree to a contract or nothing like that. So we could go from Aaron Rodgers, right? You know what I mean?
That's probably why he got fired.
Hey, you mortgaged your whole freaking future of the Jets, Zach Wilson. Like, so yes, we could go on and on with the Jets. So he's back. Congratulations. Woo, we did not miss you because we just won a championship, been to a Super Bowl after he been gone. So good job. Continuity, I guess. He knows I guess, but he's all right.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be like a needle breaker. I think it's good that he fulfills a role that just got picked up. The Raiders took both for our best scouting people. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of the head, the senior and a senior assistant, both went to the Raiders, over there in Las Vegas. So it's good that you got a veteran guy. You're not worried about, you poach all this talent from us, and we didn't have to worry about the next guy actually coming up and doing a good job. We actually got a proven guy. And regardless on what we say, yeah, everybody has good picks, bad picks, but he's a proven guy in the NFL. And he'll be working his way to try to become a GM again, probably, for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that he got to repair his image, especially the past few years, Matter of fact, since he left the Philadelphia Eagles, man, you know what I mean, with the Zach Wilson, you know, with the whole Aaron Rodgers, with the Hassan Reddick, who else did he screw the pooch on? Wasn't Sam Darnold one of his draft or no? No, he was still with the Eagles then, huh?
No. Yeah. I think he was.
So, I mean, that's good. You know, I mean, continuity. You know, that's the whole thing with the Philadelphia Eagles now, man. It's to try to either keep a lot of your own, or at least try to bring back some of your own somewhere in there. So, you know.
Yeah, we see how good that goes, man. But you know, the theme of the day really is like, why are they still hating on the Eagles, man? Like, why the champs not getting the love that they're getting? We just keep getting blatantly disrespected. And what they say about our quarterback, but what they say about our head coach, like that no one is giving us any love. And there's just a couple positions out there. Oh, actually, first we start out with what got put back on the table that will be voted on tomorrow, and that's going to be the banning of the tush push. You know what I'm saying? It's probably going to get banned the way everybody's talking about it. You know, that play is probably scrapped, gone. I think, Lori told us straight up that, you know, we're going to be working on having a revitalizing the fullback position, that he was basically telling us that we're probably not going to have the tush push, probably going to have to do more traditional runs and whatnot and things like that. So, you know, does it really suck? Is it that big of a deal as everybody think that the tush push is leaving?
No, I mean, look, the thing is this: how much help?
60% of the touchdowns, 60%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, to me, look, it is what it is, man. They get rid of it, they get rid of it. But how much help? Okay, look, they can still line up as they are going forward, like the tush push, right? They could still do that formation. The only thing is, Jalen cannot be touched. So it's a quarterback sneak, right? But how many of those touchdowns that he actually needed to be pushed across, though? You know what I mean? Like when they hike the ball, you can clearly see that he's already in, and they're just trying to push him for the rest, right? You know what I mean? So a lot of it, to me, hey, we still gonna line up in the same formation, but they're gonna say, hey, don't touch him. And now what? You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. Oh, they getting pushed. It's an unfair advantage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what? Get rid of the push. But
I don't think they should do it that way.
Get rid of the push. You keep the tush.
I think they should reverse it. If the defensive players are crying about they can't push on their side, let them push on their side too. I don't care if linebackers are put. Let's see the strongest people will, you know, stop the play. If the linebackers can stop crying about having to jump over the pile and just push the pile, then maybe that help our defenses stop it a little bit more. You know, you got big linebackers out there, just like you got our big quarterback and our big running back out there. You know what I'm saying? It'll make it more of a fair thing besides just getting ready to play as a whole. Because I look at it, it's like the Eagles have showed that we have evolved from just doing a quarterback sneak from it. We have passes out of there. We have runs out of there that are very effective. So not only are you stopping one play for us, you're stopping like a handful of plays, good plays that we can use. And that could even involve even more plays, you know, the more we do the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more we do the push, we can keep thinking of new ways to pop off something different with the play. So I think that's the part that I don't like about it. But like you said, I know quarterback sneaks. We're going to be able to get it. We're going to be able to do fullback dives. We're going to be able to just hand the ball off to Saquon or some of that short yarder stuff. I've seen a lot of people say that that's going to help Saquon Barkley a lot, give him a little bit more respect. He had like 20 more touchdowns every single season.
At least 12 more.
Yeah, he got like 12, 15 more touchdowns every year, you know, without that tush push stopping him from getting it. But I think it's dumb, man. I think, like Jordan Mailata said, you know, what he said again, he said, in terms of the banning the tush push, I hate that name, so I hope it gets banned. Stupid name. Like, let's just think of anything, the reason to freaking go out there and try to ban a play because we do it better than everybody else in the NFL, man. It's funny.
But see, the problem is, like, they're not going to get rid of the play. They're just going to change the language of it. All right, they're just going to say, there's no more pushing. So, I mean, so the formation doesn't have to change. The formation does not have to change at all. It's still
but what you do in a play would change, because why would you still have your tight end and your receiver, I guess, still in the backfield with your
that's fine. Like, that's fine. So just put them on the line or something. right? You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a traditional goal line, but we do have, Saquon Barkley back there, AJ
Corey Dillon
Dillon.
now.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so we still have, the best offensive line, in football. So the only thing they are taking away is you cannot push. But guess what? Our line is going to be more motivated now. They say, watch this. Y'all thought it was the push. It's actually, you got to have the players. We have the players to still make that quarterback sneak as effective without the push.
I think it'd be cool to like bring some of them T formations or even wishbone out. Now you want to mess around. We'll still get 3 backs back there and do trick plays off of those if we need to. Look, now you got Corey Dillon. So you have Corey Dillon back there, with Wing T, and you have Corey Dillon, Saquon back there. Hell, you can throw one of these big boys.
Who the hell is that?
AJ Dillon, I mean, not Corey Dillon. I always get them mixed up. Corey Dillon's old school. AJ Dillon, news guy. Yeah, that's a big guy right there. Throw like a Jordan Davis or even Robinson, Ty Robinson. He plays some fullback. Throw him at the fullback spot, and then you get all mixed up. Not sure what we're gonna do out of that. So even if they take away one formation or even one play, I think the Eagles are smart enough to come up with something new.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Effectively. I think, like they said too, the stats that we did with just normal quarterback sneaks were high anyway. But for those that that could possibly be the end of the tush push, let's remember it for a second here.
Yeah.
Dominate. Just dominate. Just get out of here. But you see what I'm saying? If you just change the rule where all those linebackers that were just jumping up on Pal get an opportunity to push. You know what I'm saying? That would be a dynamic part for the defense that might help them out a little bit more. I think our line's one of the biggest in the league, so it doesn't matter. But at least you're giving them a little bit more of a chance to stop the play more consistently than by letting them push you from the back. I don't like the whole who cares to push it because it's not a rugby play, it's a football play. And you just gotta deal with it. But I know the Packers are gonna pay for even bringing this up again. Like we cleared this up last offseason.
Yeah, we just have too much talent on that offensive line, man. Even now, I think it's even going to be harder to stop. Our short yardage offense, because now guess what? You could spread them guys out, and we already got the same offensive line minus our right guard. We still got Jalen Hurts, and now you as a defense, you have to get those guys that was trying to stop the shove. Now you got to spread them out too. So I mean, it is what it is.
I agree with you, Miss Shasta. Any changes to the play by the league will be used as bulletin board material for the offensive lineman. Facts. They're gonna say, you don't think I can move you without
yardage offense? Yo, they're gonna be like, oh shoot, hey, guess what? They didn't want us to do the tush push right here. Now let's go goal line. Let's go offense. Let's go show them that we don't need that play, to be successful. Yo, but even when Carson Wentz was here, we still was one of those teams that completed short yardage plays a lot. 4th downs, we still went for it. We still was able to complete short down plays without the push. So
that is true. And even before, even with Jalen Hurts, I think we had a higher year just doing quarterback sneaks than we did with the higher percentage than we did with the tush push the year after. So I get it. It is what it is. They're gonna do what they want to do with it. How do you feel about the league changing the division second round proposal they have where it's like division leaders, can go, but in the second round, it's the highest,
Huh? What?
highest winning percentage that gets you the higher seed in the second round of the playoffs. So basically eliminating the division.
I don't know what
Division
you're talking
winner. Division winners get the 4 division winners, 3 wild card teams. But after the first week, I think they said that it makes
Not that language don't even make sense to me right now, because how could you change it to second round and not the first round? I don't think that's what they say. I think what they're trying to do is eliminate a 7-8 division winner to have a home game. So they're just trying to reseed it for.
Well, it's because of Minnesota last year. They were mad that they had the same record as the Lions. But
Okay, but they didn't win the division.
So they
So
had to go on the road with a higher record. So they're saying that it wasn't fair that even though they didn't win their division, they had to go on the road instead of being at home against a team with a lower range, basically.
okay.
Which it doesn't matter. They should have just won the game because they played Detroit the last week of the season. If you're really worried about it, you should have just won the football game and you didn't have to worry about it. But you lost the football game, then you got spanked the first round of playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know why you're crying about it.
But then look, but then I was thinking about this, right? If I'm a football team, I'm like, look, there's no way in the next 2 weeks we could lose, like we cannot make the playoffs. We don't care who we play. So let's just, throw a couple games. Now we're the lower seed. And now we go to the higher seed home as a better team because we did it to ourselves just to rest our guys. And now we go whoop on the higher seed. And now what?
I think out of the 4 playoffs, didn't we do that? Well, we didn't technically get the bye, but we gave ourselves the bye the last week of the season.
Well, it was the last week.
We did it too, huh?
Huh?
We did it last year, huh? We didn't play our starters in the last week of the season.
Yeah, last year we didn't because there was no way we could get the number 1 seed. But if you know that you're a better team and you rest the next, the last couple of weeks, try and get your guys ready for the playoffs, because the Philadelphia Eagles could go on the road or at home and still win. So now you're the higher seed now by default because we choose not to be a higher seed. We choose rest over trying to play, the last 2 weeks. And now as a lower seed, we go and beat you as a higher seed. And everybody's saying, well, technically the Eagles were better, but they didn't play the last 2 weeks. They prioritize health over seed because seed doesn't matter now. The seed doesn't matter, right?
It didn't matter last year.
But I'm just saying, so if they do go down that route, like you could take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know that you could go on the road. At home, it doesn't matter. You are the better team. You got the better talent. You just rest up your guys to go ready for the playoffs.
And speaking of better team, we both know that the Eagles are the best team in football. A lot of people they're skeptical about it. And there's some reasons that I think they feel like they're skeptical about it. Like you heard our boy, well, not our boy, but the boy Michael Parsons again out there running his goddamn mouth. Like he always does.
Oh, the Cowboys, man.
These Cowgirls, and we play on week 1, so we're gonna start lighting up fuse a lot earlier than we normally do because we played. I think this is the first time in a long time we played them actually the opening game of the season. But let's hear what these clowns had to say.
Eagles fire. I ain't gonna lie. Eagles just fire. They gonna get these. Like they talented as hell. They gonna get these. Like I'm not saying that we gonna shut them out. They gonna get these, but we gonna limit that though. We coming. They gonna get these. But guess what? Our offense fire too now. We're gonna get ours. We're gonna get off. Believe. And I'm sorry. That Quintamino Bay don't last over here, man. That shit dead.
What is that?
That's what they call Quinyon Mitchell.
What?
They said Guantanamo Bay. That's where they said you headed.
Wow.
I think Eagles fans are here.
I don't care who's in
They're
here.
talking about you going to Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay.
All right, so
I ain't never been locked down on any island.
That fool's a clown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Michael Parsons, man, is
I do give him credit for giving us props in the beginning of that because I think when they first showed that clip, I didn't hear that first part where he's giving us props like they fired, you know what I'm saying? But we fired too now. It's like he want to be Eagles so damn bad. He got to give us props all the time and try to hate on the same time.
You know what? Michael used to be my boy because he played out of Penn State. I'm a big Penn State fan. But man, every time he opened his mouth, I'm like, he's really dumb. He's a dumb football player. Like, I don't understand how he could be this dumb. If you take away 2-3 big plays, yeah, we would have won the game. Ninja. Yo, I'm about to say so. I was like, what? Every time he opened his mouth, it's like,
what the?
Wait, yeah, we're going to get ours too. We're going to limit it. Da, da, da. Okay. Like, man, I'm tired of y'all putting Cowboys people on my timeline. Yeah, I just can't stand the Cowboys, man. They're gonna
How
get
do you feel about that? Do you think that move's going to actually do something? Because I think this is what the Eagles got to worry about here.
the move. What move?
Of getting Pickens. Because even you heard our boy AJ. AJ even said something about it. AJ said something about it. I think it's
The what?
Like the teams trading each other. Like, how do you
Trade?
feel- yeah, how do you
Like what? Like Jordan Pickens today?
how do you feel about
No, I like that. I ain't gonna lie.
You don't feel like there's no like how can I put it? Nothing that y'all have to worry about.
No, I think that was a outstanding trade for them, right? I mean, that was a great trade for them. But the problem is this. Cooper was there when Lamb was there. Gallup. Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup. They all was there.
yeah.
Right? It doesn't really matter what weapons you have if you cannot perform in big moments. And that was their problem. Carson Wentz beat them for the division, made the playoffs with not one wide receiver over 500 yards receiving.
I remember that.
Yeah.
What was it? It was like 5 receivers and 500 yards.
Not one wide receiver. Now he had a Zach Ertz over 500. He had like 700-800 yards,
Yeah.
but not one wide receiver. And they had CD, they had Gallup, they had Cooper over there. So I don't really care who's over there. The problem is the Dallas Cowboys as a whole, the star be too bright for them on the biggest stage. It doesn't really matter. You telling me that the Cowboys have not had talent in almost a decade of Dak Prescott being there?
Yeah.
As much as all pros and Pro Bowls and first team this, second team that, and 12 wins every. How could you win 12 games, 3 straight years, and not make it to the championship?
That is
What was
weird.
the difference between the regular season and the playoffs? You won 12 games 3 times in the regular season, and then you get bounced in the playoff first round, second round with that talent team. But their excuses are our defense didn't show up. Last time I checked, this ain't no you make it, you keep it. If you score a touchdown, I get the ball back to try to score a touchdown too. So if your defense can't stop you, just like we did in the Super Bowl, just like that Jalen Hurts had to do in 2023 when we had the worst defense in the league, but some way, somehow, we was 10-1. You know why? Because regardless, our defense was bad. Our quarterback was not turning the ball over. Mm-hmm. So that's all it is. So look, they can have anybody over there, everybody over there. You paid Dak Prescott $60 million. He's not like Jerry Jones is so dumb himself. Like he's not gonna pay you $60 million and hand the ball off. He's not gonna be committed like that. So if the ball's in the air, there's a chance that it's going the other way or it's not going to be completed.
Yeah, Tony Prescott is what I call him. Tony Prescott. Because he's just same damn quarterback as Tony Romo, man. Like Romo was excellent in the regular season, putting up all these numbers in the regular season. Yeah. But when it came to the end of the season, divisional round, when it came to the playoffs, you knew he was going to implode. You know, it didn't know what part of the game was going to happen. He might start the game off hot on fire, but you knew by that third or fourth quarter, you're going to see some Romo type shit out there. And that's what Romo did, man. He always choked the game away at the end. And it was just beautiful, man. It's beautiful. What could happen always happens with him. And I think that's the same unfortunate scenario for a Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Like he He had these great regular season, but when the lights are bright, he's out there choking. But that's a lot of these quarterbacks out there. They choke. Lamar Jackson we talked about. He's becoming a choker. You know what I'm saying? Like the Josh Allen's out there, Mr. MVP, over the last 2 MVP, they're becoming chokers. They're not getting the job done at the end. Stafford, all these guys. Well, Stafford won a Super Bowl, but all these other cats don't have a Super Bowl. They're becoming chokers. Yeah, who cares about the individual stats? Kind of like what we said about the whole freaking Coach of the Year thing with Nick Sirianni. It was like these guys are winning MVP without winning playoff games like they should. You know what I'm saying? Like they should be winning more playoff games. They definitely should be winning more divisional championship games, and definitely should be in the Super Bowl a lot more often. Pat Mahomes shouldn't be in the Super Bowl every year for the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, so it is what it is, man. But we are lucky to have seen Tony Romo and Dak Prescott in our division for combined 19 years or something like that, like a long time.
And they wonder why they ain't won went to a division game in like 35 years.
Like a long time, man. Like, look, the Dallas Cowboys have a certain type of quarterback, a certain type of coaches. They're not going to go out there and hire a coach with the mouth. They're not going to go out there and hire a coach with the opinion. They're going to go hire a puppet. Just like
hire a coach that's going to listen to Jerry and kiss his ass.
They're going to listen to Jerry, and that's it. And the same thing with the quarterback, right? They're not going to get no dog. Like they're not going to get no Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts don't sell the brand. He's like, hey, keep the main thing the main thing. Dak Prescott. Well, we got, just check my record. Yeah, we've been winning a lot of games. Hey, they're the champ now, blah, blah, blah. Every year.
Last year, we had won some of the games when I played. We had won more when I had played than when, other teams have played or whatnot. The record really against Jalen Hurts isn't that good. You know what I'm saying? Like Jalen Hurts, what's his record against Jalen again? I think it's like 5-3 or something like that, or 3-5 or something. But his overall was 9-4 or whatever. But he played against other bums out there, other quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, the freaking Gardner Minshew's, those type of quarterbacks, So it is what it is, I do worry about 2 players. I think this defense is gonna really hinge on the play of these 2 players, like what they were saying about Michael Parsons and his Guantanamo Bay. How confident are you, that Quinyon is going to come back this year even better than he was last year? Are you 100% confident? Look at some of these receivers you got to go against. This is his slate this year. You got CeeDee Lamb, you got Puka, you got Evans, Cortland Southern, Neighbors, Jeffersons, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Lad McConkey, and Scary Terry, man. Those are a nice handful of receivers that he got to go against this year. And
he went against 5 of them already last year.
Huh?
He went against 5 of them.
But then some of them last year, like we talked about too, Darius Slay was the number 1. He's the number 1 now. So he's going to get more attention with these receivers. Like, yeah, he did go against a lot. Remember we talked about some of those games. He wasn't even lined up against them the whole game. But now he is going to be that guy that's going to be on these guys all game long. So how confident are you that he's going to make that next step, and be able to go ahead and do what he did last year? He didn't give up a touchdown, until week 18 or 17 or something like that? Or was the playoffs even?
Week 15.
Yeah, 15.
I think it was like week
it was late in the season,
right? Washington versus Washington.
Yeah, it was late in the season when he did it. And then he definitely did get an interception into the playoffs. So do you think he picks up on the interception, still locked down all these corners the same way? I remember there was a thing, but the first 7 receivers couldn't even get over 35 yards. And CeeDee Lamb was one of those guys.
You see, the problem with Q being number 1, they're not going to line up their number 1 on him, though. Like, the reason why that Slay was getting picked on, because Slay wasn't really locking stuff down, really. You know what I mean? He played great. Now, hey, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't throwing towards Q way. There wasn't throwing his way. You know what I mean? So I think he is going to get a lot more attention this time around, but at the same time, I think he's 1 year better than he was last year. All right, he was a rookie, and he should have been, in a conversation for defense player of the year, kind of, right? So his second year, he even talked about not getting the interceptions throughout the season. But I think that he's going to go into the season even better than last year, regardless if he's covering number 1 or number 2, which I really feel like that a lot of quarterbacks are not going to throw his way. He's still going to be covering the number 2 guy. So we got to make sure that the second corner is up for the battle because he's battle tested already. So
yeah, that's true. You still got the gene in the slot, and no matter whichever one, I think you're right. That second, but see, it wasn't like that last year. Is what I'm saying. Like because last year with Slay being number 1, it's like
Slay was not our number 1 corner. Stop saying that.
It was our number 1 cornerback.
Slay was not our number 1 corner. Please stop. Stop saying that. He was not our number. He was barely on the field half the time because he had a hammy. Something was on. So come on now. He was
basically
not.
saying you're 1,000% confident, 1,000% confident that he's gonna be fine.
Yes, I'm 1,000% confident that Q will be fine. Is our second corner that we have to worry about. All right. So I'm wondering if our second corner, let's just say, is getting cooked. You know what I mean? Like the first few weeks of the season, do Vangio move Cooper DeJean out there? Does he become our second corner, and then trying to do something else with the slot? I don't know, but if our second corner is getting cooked, which I don't think they will, though, with the Dory Jackson out there, with Rango out there, with the depths behind them. I don't really think we're going to be a Dory Jackson to me and Rango to me. Honest truth, I feel more confident with them than I did with Slay.
Dang.
Only because when Slay be looking back, he be peeking into the backfield. People was running by him. I was like, oh my God, thank God that.
He was getting old.
That's what I'm saying. He did not have the same catch-up speed no more, the same physicality no more. So right now, I feel good. I feel great about our cornerback positions. With Q on the the second corner, whichever one it is.
What percentage do you think? What percentage do you think it will be that the Eagles do what they're talking about in the news for now? Just speculation of going out. They didn't pay Slay, but they go pay a 30-year-old Ramsey from Miami and pay that large contract.
I don't think we're going to go out and go get a corner. I think if there's one more move to be made, one more move, you already know what I think. It's Justin Simmons.
You and Justin Simmons.
If you bring Justin Simmons on the Philadelphia Eagles, only because he could be the center field. He's a true safety. I'm tired of beating this drum. He's a true safety. He does not get beat. He does not get beat. You know what I mean? And he could help these young guys, right? He could help a Makuba, right? I mean, he could be the Slay. You know what I mean? That Slay was with Q. Now he could be that for Makuba. You know what I mean? For a young safety.
Or Sidney Brown even.
You know, yeah, Sidney Brown too. I mean, he's crazy all over the place. But Justin Simmons, man, with that veteran presence, that means that we would have a veteran presence all 3 levels. You know what I mean? From the defensive line, right? With the young boys up there, Carter, Davis, Smith, our linebacker, right, with Bond, and now, our DB with Simmons. So I'm telling you, man.
Please help JC get Justin Simmons. He wants him so bad.
If we get Justin Simmons, you might as well pencil in Eagles to the Super Bowl if we get Justin Simmons. But right now we are so young at that safety position, man. That's the only thing, especially our schedule with all these wide receivers that we got coming up. We need a guy that could think like the receivers are thinking, that's seen it all, that's been there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then the other guy that I need him to have the same type of year as last year would be Bond, man. To me, the best linebacker. A lot of people argue Fred Warner's the best, but I know it's only because Fred been playing the position for longer than Bond. Bond, that was the first time ever playing it. But look at the goddamn numbers. Your first time. I don't know how you say someone's better than you when your first time playing a position. You lead the league, and you know you're the best at the position. So, do you think Bond can do it again in his second year and become even better than these numbers right here? Better than like Fred Warner and these guys at the middle linebacker position this upcoming year.
All right. So before I talk about Bond real quick, hey, let's close this Justin Simmons a chapter, right? Yo, like this is Justin Simmons, man. This was with the Falcons, man, right? They had Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. Yo, they was very, very good in that secondary, man. 101 coverage snap, 16 yards allowed, 1 interception, 1 forced incompletion, a 6.3 passer rating. You get that dude in the backfield, man, with our young guys, I'm telling you, it's going to be very, very hard to stop. So,
yeah. It's gonna be nice. I think like I said, I would like to see personally either and be a Makuba because he is that good as everybody think he is, or and be a Sidney Brown because he finally gets his shot. He gets the first crack at it, and he doesn't let this rookie come in and take his job first. You know, he plays great. We end up trading him, and then Makuba started later, and we get some value for a Sidney Brown type cat later on down the line. But you know, either way it goes, I think both of them are going to play. And like you said, we can get a Justin Simmons too. That experience is key for everything. You know, who knows how good Quinion Mitchell or DeJean would have been this year without the lights of, a big play Slay, or even like a CJ GJ, the veteran safety and cornerbacks back there that were teaching them the game their rookie year. They're rookie Super Bowl winners. It only can go down from there, I think. Such for them. It only can go down from there because if you win it again and you stay there, or you don't win it and now you're going downhill. You know what I'm saying? So they got the best in their first year.
Yeah, and nothing that was on the Philadelphia Eagles side was health, right? If someone was hurt, guess what? The backup was, we was ready for the backup. The backup was probably, as good, you know what I mean? Just waiting, like Slay, in and out throughout almost the whole season. Rodgers, he was there waiting, right? Even when what was our safety when Chauncey Gardner was out, or Reed
Blankenship.
Yeah, we still had Brown back there. Like, hey, somebody has to step in to say, okay, so even if we do go out and get a Justin Simmons, like, what is wrong with, just having Makuba watch or just waiting for something? Like, depth is important. Anytime you're going to make a Super Bowl run, there's a few things that have to go good, and health is one of it, or at least have enough depth to be able to any injury that we have. So I
would say, like, even though before you get on your take on the Bond thing, that we don't even know, like, we could think that this is the weakest position on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can think, the safety, that's the one I worry the most about, because you don't know about Makuba. You don't know if Sidney Brown's going to take that next step. You don't know if Sing's that guy, because Sing was good safety at Georgia. You don't know, but the flip side of that, they're all young, they're all talented. And what happens if all three of them thrive? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like now you got three awesome safeties, and then you already know what Reed Blankenship gives you, and you're moving forward, and that's not your weakest position. Kind of like how we feel like the middle linebacker position last year going into the season was going to be the weak link of our defense, and ended up being the strength of our defense with Zach Bond playing so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with the whole Zach Bond thing, man, those numbers were crazy. They put it up again. I mean, those numbers were crazy. I mean, he should have won the Defense Player of the Year. Like, to change that defense from one of the worst defense to the number one defense in the league, and you were part of that reason, not just say, hey, I'm here, but your production. Your
tackles,
production,
fumbles, interceptions.
Right, I'm telling you, all over the place. Yeah. With that being said, health once again. But now people know who Zach Bond is, right? I mean, that's even going to make our run defense even better, because now you're going to try to run away from Zach Bond, whatever. But I don't think people is going to game plan. People don't really gameplay for linebackers like that, right? I mean, you just like, well, it don't run that way.
One of the best linebackers.
Linebackers run sideline to sideline, and that's the problem. You can't keep running away because sideline to sideline. So, but I don't think he could put up those. Those were all-star, first-team All-Pro numbers. Did he get first-team All-Pro?
Yes, he did.
Yes. So that means that you were the best linebacker at your position all year. You beat out some great linebackers out there, included Fred Warner. So, I mean, but who knows? You know, he only had one good year.
1 year.
He might say, hey, guess what? Y'all thought I was one and done? Guess what? Repeat. You know what I mean?
Paid now like a star linebacker.
So he's not paying for no contract, but guess what? Now he got security. So he probably could go out and be even more reckless, right? You know what I mean? So you never know. It could go both ways.
And the last thing I want to talk about before we get out here tonight and why the NFL is hating on my team is the schedule, man. Like, we got a real schedule this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they did things that's never been done. The Eagles don't have back-to-back home games throughout the whole season. We're playing like one of the only teams that play like all playoff teams from last year. You know what I'm saying? Our strength of schedule is fifth hardest schedule in the league. Fourth hardest schedule in the league. Is it something that we should worry about, or are we the standard? And we're going to make the NFL look so silly, putting us on all these primetime games, thinking we're going to fail and turn around and just dominate like we normally do. Because look at these games, man. Look who we got. You know what I'm saying? Cowboys first week, Kansas City next week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who always have our number. The Broncos is up and coming. The Giants ain't nothing. The Vikings could possibly be nothing if the quarterback sucks, or it could be something if JJ's that guy. And we got the Giants again. We got a bye. We got a better bye this week than last year, even though the one last year worked out at the perfect time in week 4. We got week 9 bye. Then we go against Green Bay, the Lions, Dallas again, the Bears, who's up and coming. They're going to have 13 weeks with Ben Johnson's offense over there. You know, Caleb Williams throwing the football with all that talent on that side of the ball. Then the Chargers, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills, and the Commanders again, man. Like, there's not a game on it. Like, I will say this: we could beat every last one of these goddamn teams, but there's not a game that you're just looking at like, don't worry about that game. That game, that's easy.
Yes, there is.
The Giants.
There's plenty of games. There's plenty of those games on
Giants, maybe. The Broncos, without the unknowns, like, you don't know how good the Raiders are going to be this year with Chip Kelly.
Like, you don't know how good the Vikings is going to be. Like, you know what I mean? With JJ McCarthy, the Giants, the Broncos, the Bears. Like, you don't know how good they're going to be.
They could be good this year.
Like the Raiders. Like, you don't know. And then the Commanders, to me, look, that's what I don't pick. I'm telling you, watching the Commanders last year, it was a fluke. They did not improve their defense that well to stop the run. Like, they didn't beat no team with the winning record last year until, you know what, Hurts went out. They beat us before the season over. So every team with the winning record that they played last year, they lost to until the playoffs, you know what I mean, and things happen. So I don't believe in the Commanders like some of y'all believe in the Commanders. Because the way that season went last year, they could have easily been a 7-9 team.
Without them beating us, we would have swept the damn division. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, I think it's the other way. I look at it a different way. I just look at us like they're not on our level. Like, name another team that have the defense to stop both. And we have, like, I don't even know another team in the NFL that got an all-pro quarterback, an all-pro receiver, an all-pro running back, all-pro offensive linemen, all like the big three, the quarterback, running back, receivers. You know, we got dual receivers. It's probably the best in the league. I think they're the best in the league. You got the best running back in the league and one of the top 3 best quarterbacks in the league. He's not 3, I don't believe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's not very many teams that have that. What are you going to do? Load up the box like Kansas City tried to do and Jalen Hurts throws all over your head? or you're going to stop the pass and Saquon Barkley run. There's not a lot of teams that got defenses capable to stop that kind of high-powered offense. Like I really feel like Chip Kelly's season that Chip Kelly was our offensive coordinator and our head coach, we had the most points scored in the season. I think it was 29.4 points a game. And I think that this year's team could possibly be better than that. So what do you guys think in the chat with that, man? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. How do you guys feel about the schedule? How I feel like they trying to test us. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, you guys aren't the Packers. You're not the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not one of these teams that we're gonna let you, coast with a championship. We're gonna make it even harder. We're gonna try to take away your favorite play. We're gonna still criticize your quarterback, and we're gonna give you one of the hardest schedules we possibly can with no back-to-back home games, man. I think it's crazy out there. I think it's kind of rude the way they're doing that to us, and we're just going to see what that is all about this year, because I know the Eagles are good enough. Put up Ready Red. I know the Eagles are good enough to beat every last team on this list, but football is any given Sunday, and there are a couple of teams that, some teams that sucked last year are going to be good this year. Some teams that's good this year are going to suck next year. So it's easy to look at the schedule, but we could beat every last one of them, but there's always going to be that one game. One of the games I really look forward to watching, because I was a former running back playing semi-pro ball. I didn't get to pros. I ran a 4.29 40. I could have been in the pros if I just didn't like partying as much as I like to. But this game right here, man, week 15, you got the number one running back going, rookie running back, to everybody thinks about to change the whole face of the Las Vegas Raiders, go against Saquon Barkley. So I just want to know how the people feel about this game. That's one of my favorite games I want to see, and that's that Week 15 Raiders, because I want to see how Geno does. Last time Geno did good with Pete Carroll. I want to see how Chip Kelly does. Now he went back to college, very successful there with UCLA. I love UCLA. That's a good school down there in Southern California. And now you're back with Pete Carroll as an offensive coordinator, something he should have came into the league as in the first place with that offensive mind of his. So I think, they got the talent now. They got one of the best tight ends in the game. And now you got this young running back that, we've been pumping out a lot of good running backs. And I think Gentry's going to be another one. I don't know how they hype up. I don't like the way they hype up these rookies nowadays, how they say, like you look at Gentry and mock drafts now, he's like number 5, number 6, number 7. I don't know how he can go that far with a rookie, or even like guys like Hunter. You see Hunter in the top 10 to pick up on fantasy football. So I don't think they should be.
Yeah, that's fantasy though. I mean, that's fantasy. Fantasy has nothing to do with like the real production as much, because a fantasy is like PPR, right? Like point per reception, right? Every time you touch the ball, you get double points. You could get points for the yards and the reception. So
Bijan's really good in fantasy, but I don't know. I think he's one of the better backs in the league, but I don't think he's like elite. I think he's a good running back. I thought he's going to be elite, but he don't have the offensive line like Eagles. I think if he came to the Eagles, we were to draft him instead of Jalen Carter, he would be elite because of our offensive line. But I don't think Atlanta had that offensive line, that talent on offense to make him fully elite. But I do see what they say. I see the talent. He is a really talented back out there. Even Saquon Barkley talk about how good Bijan Robinson is. But there have been a couple of backs over the last couple of drafts. Gibbs with the Lions, it was been really good. Kyrie Williams, Tracy last year with the Giants played some pretty good football. So we're getting some good backs out, but I don't like how they're just making these guys seem like they're going to be like all world their first year in the league this year. And Gentry have a possibility of doing it. The Raiders could possibly do that. So
yeah, but I mean, like I don't look at their rankings as something like, okay, he's better than this running back. It's only because of fantasy, man. Look, man, it was like, look, the Raiders are going to be in a lot of games. So he's going to be on the field a lot compared to the Philadelphia Eagles, right? We might have a couple of blowouts, and now Saquon's on the bench, and he's like, dang, man, I just need a few more carries, So that's how fantasy works. People is like, the more sorry the team is, right?
Any player to get it, like, yeah, he's gonna be
in this game a lot of shootout, or hey, they're gonna.
But last year too, the Raiders had Bowers, and he
I had him in fantasy,
and he balled the fuck out too.
Yeah, because they were in a lot of close games, and he was one of the few bright spot on that team. So that's how. But
yeah, that's pretty much the way. Those are pretty much the main topic. Ain't too much going on here in Philadelphia right now. We talked about the new Joe Douglas coming back. We talked about Nick Sirianni. We talked about how they hate on the schedule. They hate on us, push Tush. They hate on us saying that our cornerback's not going to be that main man. They're just trying to hate FC. And we're gonna see what happens. There's a long way of season. I think Howie still got a move or two left before the season started, before that week 1. We're not gonna dive into none of that. But hey, man, any final words before we get out of here? We're at an hour. Let's go ahead and get up out of here for this week, my brother.
no, man. Look, the thing I like about the Eagle players are they all focused, man. I don't believe that this team is going to have a Super Bowl hangover.
No,
right. I didn't believe that they was going to come in the year because they had a 10-1 start and then they collapsed. These players that we have on this team, their mindsets are different, right?
Yeah.
They don't let one thing carry over. So that's why I feel like there's not going to be no Super Bowl hangover. And we're just going to see what happens, man. This year, I'm just going to relax watching football. We just won a Super Bowl. Like, I could just enjoy football season and not have a heart attack. So I'm just going to relax and watch football, enjoy, and watch my team possibly do the impossible. Win back-to-back division titles, win back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't know, but I'm here for it.
Ready, Ray, you're delusional. Y'all not winning nothing this year. Y'all should be hoping y'all can get past third place again because the Giants are coming for y'all.
They're going to be in second. They're going to be second. The Cowboys are going to finish second in the division.
Look at you.
I don't trust the Commanders.
Look at you giving the Cowgirls love today.
Yo, I've been told y'all that, man. Even the last time we had the round table with Chuck and them. I don't believe in the Commanders. The Commanders are fluke. And I said it all last year, and I'm going to say it this year. They are fluke. They won. They beat a lot of bad teams. You know what? The worst thing that could happen for the Commanders, they beat a lot of bad teams. They got far. And now their schedule reflect their win record. Y'all beat a lot of bad teams. Guess what? Y'all won so much games. Y'all get all second place teams. And then y'all play, this division, the North. And then y'all, you know what I mean? So it's not going to be a cakewalk like it was last year for them.
Yeah, and all I got to say about it is, man, I ain't got no worries because we are that team. We are the standard. We are the model of the NFL. And like you said, that whole mentality, if you look remember the 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and everybody's wondering, how the Eagles going to play in this Super Bowl, You've seen all the photos of the Super Bowl pictures. Whenever you see the Chiefs players, they're all happy, like, oh, we're about to be dynasty, we're about to do this. Every time you see an Eagle, all the superstars have serious looks on their face, like, we don't care about none of that shit. We're about to come in here and whoop some ass. And that, like you said, that is the same mentality that went into this offseason. And to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to satisfy these guys. If a Super Bowl is not satisfying you,
Super Bowl night,
is that going to satisfy them? Or they going to be the same way? I don't think nothing's going to satisfy. They try to be like Tom Brady.
They might for the free team
out there. They go on every time they get on the football field every year to be bringing home that trophy, and I ain't mad at them. So. I think we got like you said, we got the right people here. And for, like I said, the next 2-3 years, this is our window to win as many Super Bowls as possible. I think it's possible, given the contracts that we have on our team to go all three. But we definitely got to go out there and work. Like AJ said, he liked it with the other part of that video you didn't hear about AJ. He was like, I like it because it brings better competition. Because now we can see this early in the year that they're making moves like that to become that much better. And he really liked the Jordan Pickens trade, that he knows that we have to work that much harder so we can be that much better next year and be that much more focused. So you thinking about that all the way in here in May, man, by the time the season roll around, our boys are going to be whooping people's ass all over again every single week. So I'm happy about it. And we're going to keep bringing you all the updated news from then till now. And it's going to be nasty out there. The Eagles, NFL, stop hating on my people. Stop hating on my people, because no matter the more you hate, the more we're gonna be great. And that's just how it works over here in Philadelphia. So fly, Eagles, fly.
Well, birds.
And we out. Peace.
Stat wins definitively are a coach stat. In fact, they're the only